Hey guys, welcome to this week's Angling News KZN Fishing Report. Now, my title says Industry Meets Incision, and that's exactly what this week in KZN was all about. Those that were putting out the time, the effort, it certainly seemed as though fortune has favored the bold. Guys, KZN, we've had snow, we've had heavy rains, we've had big seas, but the anglers that went out were certainly rewarded with a variety of species. These species were from the south coast. We've had the north coast being really optimistic. We've had the boys in the Midlands having an absolute field day with the bass. Guys, it is fantastic. So make sure to get out there. Now, we do have Friday afternoon with some heavy winds coming through, but Saturday is looking fantastic, and Sunday does have a bit of drizzle, but it is certainly fishable. Now, we will get into all of this in this week's show, but before that, I'm going to tell you why we are broadcasting from a tackle shop this week, and that is because of the launch of my new magazine, the Tackle Insider. Guys, there's been a lot of videos we've been posting on our YouTube channel with regards to the latest products that SA has to offer. We've also had a whole bunch of reviews on those everyday products that you fish with. We've managed to put all of that into a magazine, and there is a full-on tackle store directory. So make sure to go and look out for it. If you can't find it on any of our social media threads because it moves so fast, well, be sure to join our WhatsApp channel. That's where I'll be posting all the latest content that SA has to offer. Now, before we get into the show, guys, special thanks to our sponsors, the Kingfisher and CMH Pinetown, with their brands being Mitsubishi, Nissan, and Proton. None of this could be possible without them. None of these reports could be possible without them. And we definitely want to hear these reports because, guys, KZN is on absolute fire at the moment. So let's get into this week's show. Starting off down the south coast, guys, Adam has reported a mixed bag of species. Now, yes, there weren't too many reports on a daily basis because there weren't that many anglers going out and fishing on a daily basis. However, what we did get was reports from anglers that were getting out in those rough conditions, and boy, were they rewarded. It is certainly Cobtober down the south coast, but on top of that, the guys are getting stumpies, they're getting brusher. There's a lot of bream species, and the inedible action is cooking at the moment. So South Coast from Port Edward to Port Shepstone looking fantastic.
So Vinesh, we're down here at Lucian Point in the front, and things aren't looking too bad. The water is nice and clean, as you can see, moving our way over towards Margate Main Beach and obviously Lucian, and things are looking okay. The wind is pumping, however, but that doesn't always mean it's a bad thing. Now moving our way further north, just towards Lucian Tidal Pool, Ormond Harbour Tidal Pool. Things are looking a bit better. There's a chap further in the front there, as we can see, that is trying his luck for maybe a nice rockfish or a PB, we never know. But the water's definitely looking nice and clean, which is great to see for this local area. Just moving our way back to the front here where the live bait spots are, as you can see. The water is a bit churning, but that's not too bad. Definitely looking good.
Now, guys, moving on down to Scottbutter, Rocky Bay, and Park Rainy. Well, fishing conditions obviously not good. However, there has been some bronze bream, not too much on the offshore side, but the shad has been on the bite. Now, let's reiterate, it is close season. So, guys, when you do get that shad, please put them back. It is only right. With just a couple weeks more, we can hold on. So, yeah, I know it is tempting. There are that big shad that's out and about at the moment, but we have to respect those rules and regulations, or we will not have any fish to catch in the future. Now, in Water Beach and Toti, prior to the storm, Gary has reported it was absolutely fantastic. The usual suspects that's been coming out over the last couple of weeks, Brushes, Stumpies, and Garrick. However, that did slow down over the week, but the conditions were definitely fishable in the later half of this week. And anglers were back getting those rods bending. So those same species are on the bite. I have seen some Garrick that has come out. Definitely some stumpies. And yes, inedible action, they are there. That summer species are definitely on the bite. So let's move on down to Durban, where Mike V has reported some fantastic fishing. He says fishing was great on all fronts. But once again, it was for those anglers that were willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and put in that fishing during those trying conditions. So guys, the species that were coming out, obviously that big blue shad. We're not going to keep on harping about putting them back. I think we all know about that right now on this show. But there's also been the garrick that are sitting outside of Durban. Our harbor is absolutely cooking. Grunter like you cannot believe. But on top of the grunter, there are a fair amount of other species. The highlighted ones being the kingfish. Guys are getting a fair amount of kingfish on drop shot, so that's back with a vengeance. We've also got reports of springer, so make sure to go out there, book a charter if you don't have a boat, and get fishing in the Durban harbor. On your inedible side, there has been your honeycombs, there's been gray sharks, there's been sand sharks. So Durban looking very well at the moment. Oh yes, and on your offshore side, bottom fishing has been really good at the moment as well. So now moving up to the north coast, guys, Jesse has reported he is very optimistic. He's had the best week of fishing coming through in the last month. We know the fishing conditions up the north coast has been quite trying. We know those conditions has been rather difficult. Martin up at Mshlali has been sending us these reports. So be sure to follow us on our Angler News WhatsApp channel. Guys, I will be posting whatever Martin sends through with regards to weather conditions, and not just him. Our other reporters have been sending me catches throughout the week that will be updated on as soon as it comes through. I will share it on that page, so please make sure to follow us. Yeah, back to the fishing at Bolito, Salt Rock, guys. The bronze bream and the rest of those bream species has been on the bite. Jesse has said the sales on sardines and shad traces has been quite abundant. So yeah, clearly we know the guys are targeting shad in the area. Apart from that, inedible action up on the north coast looking very good at the moment. Now for the rest of the north coast, moving up from Tilly Manor, Tugela, Stanger, Blightdale, Zinkwazi, more or less the same story. Safika has said there's been guys catching a lot of shad. Yes, it is close season, but all we can do is just remind the guys it is close season. You cannot go and keep that fish. Have a good time with it and put him back. But guys, apart from the shad, there's been a fair amount of bream. The non-eds has been virtually non-existent in those areas, but the conditions are looking quite favorable for this weekend if you are targeting those species. Now, Nick at Mtinzini Banks has reported virtually no fishing because the conditions just weren't in favor for the guys. However, moving up to Richards Bay and St. Lucia, well, guys, 2 words: tuna fest. It is an absolute tuna fest in those areas. The boats are hauling in the tuna and they are coming out in beautiful sizes as well. So if you are heading up there with a ski boat, go and target the tuna. Apart from the tuna, not too much other action. We did hear of the odd garrick coming out, but nothing crazy. On your rock and surf side, the odd inedible has been on the bite. Not many reports out of St. Lucia. In fact, the conditions hasn't suited the anglers for going out and fishing. However, one of my buddies that was up on holiday this past week told me he did get a couple shad, but he did the right thing. So guys, that is our saltwater report. Now on your freshwater side, Jan has reported some freezing conditions. It has been cold. It has been trying, but the anglers did go out. And how did they do that? I have no idea. If I felt cold in Durban, I can only imagine what the Midlands must have been like. But they did brave the cold, and like Jan says, there is no cold weather. We're just not dressing appropriately enough. So guys, the fishing wise, there has been a couple browns coming out. There has been some yellows at Sturkeys, as we can see in these visuals. However, the bass reports are coming through that Albert Falls is cooking at the moment. Lots of bass around the 2 kilo mark. In fact, I just got an image from Dexter on his last cast just before he could go out. Another 2 kilo fish coming out from him. This is at Albert Falls. But now let's remind you guys that hippo still hasn't been found in Albert Falls. It is concerning. So beware when you're out there. There are reports of the hippo that hasn't been found. It is a concern to the public that's going out. I know I'm covering an event there this weekend. I'm going to be looking out for that hippo. I can assure you of that. But guys, apart from that, Midma, carp, and barbel are on the bite. So the Midlands is performing at the moment as well. So guys, that's our KZN report in a nutshell. Who would have thought we would have such fantastic news to report on? I mean, last weekend was atrocious. The only good thing that happened last weekend was the rugby and South Africa being champions, of course. But fishing-wise, did we think anyone was going to go out? I personally didn't think I was going to get too many reports. But thanks to our reporters and our boys at the Kingfisher, guys, those reports came through in abundance. And the guys are feeling good. They're feeling optimistic. They are smiling. Yes, we know Friday afternoon winds up to 50 k's per hour are coming through, but it's an easterly wind. The sea is going to be looking beautiful for Saturday. Sunday is definitely going to be fishable, irrespective of the slight sprinkle that's coming through. So, guys, KZN is looking fantastic. Whether you're fishing north, whether you're fishing south, whether you're fishing the Midlands, whether you're drop fishing, whatever you are doing, guys, get out there and fish. So pop into your tackle store, support the guys, and while you are talking tackle, look out for our new magazine, The Tackle Insider. Do not forget to follow our Angler News WhatsApp channel. And guys, when you're out there this weekend, always remember, keep that fishing area tidy. Respect your bag limits and fish for the future.